everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is August 4th, 2024, and Barcelona are not ruling out signing a midfielder during this summer transfer market. Also, N'Golo Kante has offered himself to the club. And finally, Barcelona considered this upcoming week as a key week to sign Dani Olmo. We have a lot to discuss, so let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and before we begin with the news, just a quick reminder to make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment. All of this helps this channel continue to grow. Also, if you are looking for any Barcelona jerseys or merchandise, make sure you hit the Goal Kits, Give Back, or Fanatics. And if you are looking to place any sports bets, make sure you hit the Bet Us. All links are down below in the description. Now, beginning with the news that Barcelona are not ruling out signing a center midfielder during this summer transfer market. Now, so far throughout this preseason, Hansi Flick has been counting on these two midfielders to be his double pivots, which is of course Marc Casado and Marc Bernal, two players that have surprised Hansi Flick, which Hansi Flick is extremely happy with, and they have surprised me too. I think both Casado and Bernal have done a marvelous job all throughout the preseason so far, and this is why Barcelona have not been considering the signing of a center midfielder as a priority, because Flick has been counting on Casado and Bernal, and of course there are other players that Flick can count on, like Frankie de Jong, like Gabi, and we know that Flick would also like to count on Andreas Christensen for that center midfield position. So we have plenty of players for that position, and that's why Barcelona have not been, after signing a center midfielder, that was the #1 priority after the left wing at the beginning of the summer transfer market. As Flick became happy with Casado and Bernal, that priority kind of fell through. But despite that, it's reported that Barcelona are still not completely ruling out signing someone for the center midfield position. But of course, who's going to have the final say? It will be no other than Hansi Flick. Now, it looks like the plan, once the preseason tour is over, Hansi Flick will sit down with Deco. They're going to talk about the midfield. They're going to talk about other positions as well. And during that meeting, then Flick will decide whether he still thinks he needs another center midfielder, or whether he's happy with what he has so far. Of course, as you know, so far Flick is happy with what he has. He's not looking for another center midfielder. But again, there will be a meeting after the preseason to decide whether that's still the case, or whether Barcelona will need to go to the market to bring in another midfielder. Now, speaking of midfielders, it's reported that N'Golo Kante has offered himself to Barcelona. Now, it looks like Kante is looking to leave Saudi Arabia, and as such, he has offered himself to Barcelona through his agent. And it's reported that Deco met with N'Golo Kante's agent, to see what the player was looking to do, what kind of plan he had, what exactly he wanted to offer Barcelona. And it seems that during this meeting, Kante is interested in coming to Barcelona on loan. However, it's reported that Hansi Flick is not interested in having N'Golo Kante on his team. And as such, the operation to try to loan N'Golo Kante is currently on pause because, as I mentioned a few moments ago, Hansi Flick is very happy with the players that he has. But not only that, looks like Hansi Flick wants to bet on young players. And not only young players, but also young players who have already been at the club for a while, like Casado, like Marc Bernal. He prefers those players over someone like N'Golo Kante, who is 33 years old. Now, don't get me wrong, I think N'Golo Kante was one of the best midfielders of his era, but at 33 years old, he's nearing the end of his career. I think it makes a lot more sense for Flick to bet on youngsters like Casado and Marc Bernal rather than bet on older players, especially because both Casado and Bernal are products of the academy. And again, when it comes to, signing random players like Guido, Rodriguez, or like N'Golo Kante, I much rather that the club bet on their youngsters from the academy. Now, another midfielder that we had talked a lot about at the beginning of the summer was, of course, Joshua Kimmich, who was Hansi Flick's #1 option, but that option faded away as Flick realized what he has at his hands, and it's now being reported that Kimmich looks like he could be staying at Bayern Munich. It looks like Bayern Munich have been able to convince him of the new project that will be headed by Vincent Kompany. And as such, it seems that Joshua Kimmich will be renewing his contract with the Bundesliga club. Now, Kimmich's contract is set to expire in 2025. He was not happy at Bayern. He was looking to leave this summer. Bayern were okay with him leaving because this was the last summer they can make money off him. Otherwise, next summer, he would be going on a free transfer. But now it looks like Bayern Munich have been able to convince him. So he will be staying. And you might say, well, Mo, why are you bringing this up? Well, I bring this up because that definitely closes the door on Barcelona signing him. Of course, the interest in Kimmich had already dwindled for two reasons. First of all, Kimmich was requesting a 20 million euro salary, which is something that Barcelona cannot afford. And the second reason why the interest in him had dwindled is because, again, Flick had realized how many options he had for that position, including Casado and Bernal. So that option had dwindled, and now with news of Kimmich most likely staying at Bayern, the door is definitely going to close on that signing, which to me, I think it's good news. I said it multiple times before. I think Kimmich is a great player. He would definitely elevate the level of the squad. But at 30 years old, I think he's 29, about to be 30. I think it would be a little bit too late to bring in Kimmich. Not to mention all the money it would cost us in both salary and transfer fee. I would much rather than Barcelona bet on younger players. So to me, it's good news, but I am curious to hear what do you guys think about the door closing in on the possibility of signing Kimmich. Let me know down below. Now we will end this video with the news of Dani Olmo, because Barcelona considered that this week will be a crucial one in order to sign the Spanish player. And as you know, Barcelona have made two offers to RB Leipzig. The first one was 40 million euros fixed plus 20 million euros in variables, which was rejected. The second offer was near 50 million euros fixed, and I think it was something like around 13 million euros variables, if I'm not mistaken. But so far, RB Leipzig have been very insistent. You either pay us the full 60 million euros or you cannot have the player. Now, it looks like Barcelona want to insist on that 50 million euro offer because that's what Dani Olmo's release clause will be next summer. Now, Dani Olmo had a 60 million euro release clause, which expired on July 20th. Next summer, his release clause will be 50 million. So Barcelona are going to insist on a 50 million euro offer, saying, look, that's going to be his release clause next summer. We'll pay you 50 now. We'll take him. If not, we'll wait a whole year. We'll come back next summer and we'll offer you less. So Barcelona kind of trying to play that angle to try to convince Leipzig to accept the 50 million, because Leipzig so far are insisting that you either pay 60 or you can't have the player. Either way, I think 60 or 50 is way too much for Dani Olmo, especially since he's a player that we don't need. But it looks like for some reason Barcelona are now obsessed with bringing Dani Olmo over. I don't get it. Maybe you do. If you do, let me know down below. Anyways, that is all the news for this video. I did do a post-match live analysis earlier today discussing the match between Madrid and Barcelona yesterday. I'm going to be uploading another video with news in a few moments, so stay tuned to the channel. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment, and as always, Visca Barça.